Okay, beautiful people. It's your mentor, GBP JPY here. Welcome to today's session where we are going to be dealing with the things that your mentors do not tell you. So on this session here, just a spoiler alert, we are going to be dealing with the introductory phase of the market. You understand? The introductory phase of the market structure, actually, which means we are going to be going back to square one. Why? Because I've managed to realize that, okay, trading most of the concepts that ever came within the market, I've realized that, okay, it's fair for me to be able to help you guys understand ways of approaching the market. Your strategy or whatever concept that you're using, it is accurate, but at some point you feel like you are losing. Why? Because you lack the basics of market structure, right? So the first thing that I want us to start with is the following things here. A trend, a basic trend. So we're going to talk about what you call an uptrend, right? An uptrend, which occurs when price is pushing to the upside, and then an uptrend, which also refer to what a bullish structure. Some people call it a buying trend or whatever you want to call it. Note that, okay, on an uptrend or each and every single trend that we are going to be dealing with for today, it has two components or two things that I want us to deal with, which are what you call the properties, and let me just say the trend properties to make it sound a bit matured. The trend properties, understand? And then I also want us to talk about the trend rules, uptrend rules, right? The trend rules. Understand? So when we talk of the properties, we are basically saying that, okay, to JPY, those are the components that formulate the trend. You understand? As much as you see a car, the car has to have that component. You understand? That helps you to understand that this thing is a car. How do you see the components of a car? Your steering wheel, your four wheels, and then your windshield and everything. So those are the things that can help you to differentiate between a bicycle and a car, the components. And then the properties, those are the components. And the rules, we're talking about the instructions a trend needs to obey. You understand? So those are the instructions a trend needs to obey. As much as a car can move from one place to another, it has the instructions. You cannot move from the last gear to the first gear, just like that. You understand? You have to follow the procedure of doing that. You cannot insert petrol where there is oil. So those are the instructions that you were told that put this here and put that here. You understand? So when you talk of the properties of an uptrend, we are basically saying that, okay, on an uptrend, we always want to find ourselves on what you call a higher high. And then the second one will definitely be our higher low. You understand? So these are the two components. These are the two components that can help you to do it, to understand that, okay, here I'm on what you call an uptrend. So which means failure of you seeing the two components. You understand? This means that, okay, you are not on an uptrend. And then you come to the rules. What are the rules? The rules of an uptrend states that, okay, on an uptrend, the first thing you want to do, you want to see yourself breaking. You want to see yourself breaking your higher highs. And then you don't want to see price should not break your high low. You understand? Price should not do what? Price should not break your high low. And then the third one states that, okay, on an uptrend, you should always find yourself in a position where you do what? You take your buying opportunities. You understand? So these are the basic information that you need to be able to know about your uptrend. So if I were to draw an uptrend for you, I would definitely draw something like this, so that you guys can be able to get an idea before we start with this session of what exactly am I going to be talking about. You understand? So basically, what can we see here? We can see that, okay, we are on a beautiful uptrend, and then on this uptrend that we have encountered ourselves with, we can see that, okay, price gave us what? Our higher highs here. So these are our higher highs. So every time you find yourself on each and every single trend, start with your properties. Try to understand, does price meet my requirements of the properties now? If it does, that thing can be defined as that trend for now. You understand? Till the rules are met, then that's where we create what you call an order flow. So for those of you guys that are questioning themselves of what an order flow is, an order flow occurs when price respects the properties and the rules of a trend, which means there is harmony in between. Price is not disrespecting anything. You understand? So now those are the trend properties. So these are the proper trend properties, which means we are done with this, guys. So the second thing that we're going to be doing is that, okay, we want to focus on the rules. You understand? The rule states that, okay, on an uptrend, we should forever find ourselves in a position where we break our highs, right? We should always find ourselves in a position where we break our highs, but then we should not break our previous lows. You understand? Which means price should not take out the previous low. You understand? As you can see that, okay, when this low was formulated, it did not take out this one. Price goes up to create a new high. Once it creates a new high, it pushes to the downside to come and create the new low. When it creates this new low, price should not come and take out that low out, right? So which means now price will push to the upside to do what? To break a high. You understand? As you can see that, okay, we broke this high, and then when price pushes to the downside to come and formulate the new high low, this means that, okay, price should not do it. Price should not take out this low here. You understand? So what currently happening now is that, okay, we cannot confirm that we are on an uptrend. Why? Because of price did create a new high and formulate the high low. But this high low can only be valid when price takes out the high. You understand? Which means if price fails to the rule, break higher highs. If price fails to do what? If price fails to take out that high out, this means that, okay, we cannot consider ourselves in what we call an uptrend. You understand? And if price is to take out this low out here, if price takes out this low out and closes below this low, this thing cannot be considered as an uptrend. Why? Because of we always want to see price breaking highs and not breaking our lows. But here price did what? It broke our low, which means that thing cannot be considered as an uptrend yet. So, but for now, what we can have, let's say price pushes to the upside to go and break that. This means that, okay, an uptrend has been formulated. You understand? There is what we call an order flow. So that's something that I wanted to teach you guys before you go anywhere further. Identification of your highs, knowing what we're going to be dealing with, and that's it. So now let's go and talk about your downtrend now, right? I want us to focus on our downtrend. I want us to focus on what? On our downtrend. So a downtrend, it occurs when price is pushing to the downside, right? A downtrend, it occurs when price is pushing to the downside. So guys, I can't go deep on this thing. Just have to show you guys the introductory part of what I want us to focus on today. So a downtrend has the same thing, has what you call the trend rules, and it has what you call the trend properties, right? It has what you call the trend properties. The trend properties. So what are the properties, the components? What are the rules, the instructions, basic? So what are the things that formulates a downtrend? Your what? Your lower low, and your lower high. And your lower high. So your lower low and your lower high. Those are the two components that do what? So those are the two components that formulates your uptrend. So now you're gonna go to the trend rules. The trend rules, which are gonna be mainly focusing on a downtrend, they state that, okay, on a downtrend, what we wanna do is that, okay, we wanna find ourselves in a position where we wanna break your lower lows, and then we do not wanna do what? We should not break our lower high. You understand? So this basically means that, okay, now what exactly we're going to be doing on this trend, we are going to be looking for selling opportunities. So, right, if price is pushing to the downside like this, creating a series of highs and lows, so this means that, okay, price is basically formulating your what? Your downtrend, right? So this is price formulating your downtrend. So the first thing that you are requested to do is to start with your trend properties. What exactly are we focusing on? We're focusing on a series of lower highs and lower lows, right? As you can see that, okay, price formulates our lower highs, which are the top faces of this thing. And then price will go up also, formulate that. And then the bottom phase of the market will forever be seen as what? As our lower lows. You understand? Our lower lows and then our lower lows. So which means the trend properties now have been successfully identified. So you go to the rules now. That says that, okay, on a downtrend, you want to find yourself in a position where you break your lower lows and you should not break your lower highs. You understand? As you can see that, okay, most of the time price does what? Price takes out our lows, as you can see. So normally I'm going to use a term break, B for break, right? Price takes out this low out, price takes out that low out, price takes out this low out here. So what exactly do you learn from this thing? That price, when it came to create this lower high here, actually when it came to create that lower high here, this high was not taken out, right? This high was not taken out. And then when price came to create this lower high here, this high was not taken out. And then when price came to create that lower high there, this high was not taken out, which means even when price pushes to the upside again to formulate the new lower high, price should not take that high out. If price takes that high out, that thing can no longer be considered as an uptrend. You understand? I mean, a downtrend, I mean. So this is the basic information, mind you. So now we are going to be going to a proper market breakdown on GBP JPY, where I'm going to be helping you guys understand ways of approaching price. You understand? So it's not going to be far from us. It's just going to be right below us. You understand? So this is a daily time frame on GBP JPY. So the first thing first that I want to do, as I've taught you guys, is to identify what my properties, right? I'm going to be going through the markets just from this level here till where the market is currently at. You understand? So this is something new. What happens here is that, okay, price at the zone here, what does it do? It formulates our new high. Let's say this is our high, and then this is our low. This is our high, and then this is our low, right? What does price do? Price takes out this high out, right? Price takes that high out, and then, so which means that, okay, when price formulates this high, it should come and create this low. When this low is formulated, this low should not take out the previous low, right? So this low should not take out this low here, right? And then price formulates this low, and this low goes up to take out the current high. When the current high is currently formulated, this basically means one thing. This basically means that, okay, we are on a confirmed uptrend. Why? Because of this low, when it was formulated, price managed to take out that high out. A new high is formulated, a newly high is formulated, and then when this newly high is formulated, price pushes to the downside, creating a series of what? Creating a series of highs and lows. So most of you guys are going to come and tell me that, okay, Dumelo, this would be my low. So if we were to consider this thing as our low, this low was only going to be valid when price took out this high out. As much as we do not have a low that takes out that high, that thing cannot be considered as a low, right? As you can see that, okay, but the main focus is that when that low is formulated, price should not take out that low out. You understand? As you can see here that, okay, we have multiple tests at that low, but does price break and close below that low? No, it does not, which means that low that is formulated here, it's valid. Okay, so which means this will be our low. Why is this thing our low? Because of that's the low that managed to do what? To take this high out. You understand? As you can see that, okay, we have that break at that high. So which means now, since our price will be pushing like that, this is the low that we do not want to see price taking out the next time. So as you can see that, okay, price does what? Price impulsively pushes to the upside to take this high out, and then it retraces back to the downside to come formulate the new low. This low, its responsibility is to basically do what? To take out this high out. So does this low take that high out? Yes, it does. As you can see that, okay, price beautifully does what? It takes out this low. I just want to bring this thing here. So which means when this high is formulated, the low that will be probably this one, it should not take out this one, but you can see the distance that, okay, price won't exactly do that. So now let's see what happens now. Price formulates this high here, right? Price formulates that high. When price formulates that high, listen and listen to me. When price formulates that high, this low is the one that is responsible for taking that high out. But the question is, if we were to consider this thing our low here, let me just remove this. If we were to consider this guy here as our low, right? The question is, does price breaks and closes above this high? It does not, which means this guy here cannot be considered as our low. The only thing we want to see price do is that, okay, price is trending in between this low and this high here. You understand? Which means this thing here is no longer our low. Why? Because of it failed to take out that high out. Once price fails to take that high out, that thing cannot be considered as a high, right? And this one cannot be considered as a strong low. So what basically this means that, okay, you can see that, okay, price plays around a lot of time, yet it failed to take out that high, and then price sold. There was a crash on GBP JPY, and then price came down to do what? Yeah, it did not take out that low, unfortunately. Oh, I see that I made a mistake here. Yeah, I think I made a mistake because something was not making sense. So this is the low, and then let me just bring this guy here, and then let me bring him here because that's the low that took this high out. So can you see what price does here? Price takes out this low out, right? Once price takes this low out, what should come into your mind? Did price close below? No, which means this thing cannot be considered as a break. You understand? So which means now we're still trending in between this high. We're still trending in between this high here and we're trending in between this low here. You understand? We want to see either price either taking out a high or a low. So why is this thing very important, what I'm teaching you? If you were to consider this thing here as a break, right? If you were to consider this thing as a break, this means that, okay, automatically price did what here? Price broke this thing, automatically you're going to look for what? Since all price did not respect this level, you're going to say that this is your change of character. You understand? Because price was not supposed to take out this low. Once it takes out the low, that's your change of character, which means you're going to take your selling opportunities somewhere about, I don't know, but let's say you take your selling opportunities off this level here. You understand? Because price retraces back to the upside. You see that, okay, you're going to easily get yourself taken out by just simply not understanding a way of identifying your highs and lows, right? So which means price did not take that low out, and price only took this high out when it broke for the third time. You understand? When price broke for the third time, that's what we can consider as what? As a strong low. I mean, this one can consider it as a strong low and that as a newly formulated high, right? So which means we are gonna have our newly formulated low here, and then we're gonna have our newly formulated high. The only thing that is key is knowing where your highs and lows are and knowing which one broke which one, right? So which means this will definitely be our low, right? So this will definitely be our low. So basic information, guys. This is just basic information. So now you know that, okay, since all this high got taken out, we are trending in between this high and this low. So how did I go about taking my entry points within this guy here? What I did was that, okay, I took my fib from my low to my high, and I did what? I managed to identify what you call the golden zone. So I managed to identify my golden zone, which means here I'm gonna start doing what? I'm gonna start looking for my buying opportunities. As you can see that, okay, price pushes to the downside, type of scheme, and it pushes us to the upside. You understand? Even if you wanna deal with the internal structure of the market, be intelligent about it. So you know that this is the height that needs to be taken out, right? But there has to be a substructure that will create a minor structure to push price to the upside to go break that high out. What do you see? Price formulates a series of highs and lows. You understand? Price creates a series of highs and lows. So this is the last high and low that price formulated before tapping into our order block. Price broke this low here. You understand? Once price broke this low, it went down to tap into our order block. When price taps into our order block, what price simply needs to do is that, okay, it needs to disrespect the trend rules of the previous trend that brought it to the order block. So this is a bearish trend that brought price to the downside, to the order block, which means that price, what needs to happen within the markets now is that, okay, the price needs to simply, let me just highlight this thing one for you. Let me just, because you know that, okay, on a downtrend, what do? You do not take your highest out, right? As you can see that, okay. So what you basically need to understand here is that, okay, price should not do what? Price should disrespect the rules of this very structure. How does price do that? Either by failing to take a low out or by taking a high out. Because on a downtrend, we break highs, we break lows and respect highs. But here you can see that, okay, this low got taken out, but price took this high out also. When this high got itself taken out, what came into my mind was that, okay, so since all something like this happened, I'm gonna be intelligent about the whole thing. This will be the low, you understand, that took that high out. And then automatically what I'm gonna do is that, okay, I'm gonna focus on this newly formulated high. So for those of you guys that are interested in knowing how this high, like that wanna take selling opportunities, I think if you're to take a fib from this high, you probably know that from this high to this low, you can see that, okay, this is the zone that we expect price to turn from, right? We expect price to turn from this zone. So why do we want price to turn here? Because we can see that, okay, price created a change of character here. So this selling movement, it is the one that's gonna, because we're trending in between this low and this high here, and we're trending in between that high, right? We're trending in between that high. So you want to see price doing what? You want to see price retracing back to your golden zone or your order block. So for those that want to use the order block, you can simply use this candlestick here as your order block entry point. And then technically, this will be your sell side liquidity accumulated by price. And then for those that want to focus on your golden zone from your low to your high, you can still see that, okay, your golden zone, it still goes hand in hand with the what? With your order block, right? Which means you can still find your entry points within this level here. So the sells, we are taking them because of we want to bring price to the to the low. Even if the cells don't hold, it's fine. As long as we see price retracing back to the downside to come confirm that, okay, you know what, guys, I'm going to start pushing on a bullish trend. You understand? By creating this chart and then continue pushing to the upside to break that high out. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a pure example of what do you call this thing? GBP JPY. I don't know for uptrends what can I use, but personally, I was believing that, okay, if I were to just use this example alone to help you guys understand how to go about the market breakdown, understanding how price moves and everything, it is going to be quite effective for me. Note that, okay, once we take our buying opportunities from this level, automatically we're looking forward to taking that high out, which means this low, it continues to be a strong low. A newly formulated high is going to be there at the top. You understand? And then for more videos, I'll just do what you call a USD NAS 100 and German DT market breakdown on the next video, just applying the same information on those things. But for now, what I think I can use is, I think this is an uptrend, right? I'll have to look for a downtrend type of pattern. Let's go to gold for a downtrend type of pattern. Let me just remove everything on gold, remove all the drawings on gold, and just focus on the structure here. There's a certain structure that I want us to focus on. So this one here, you see this type of structure that we have here. So gold was started pushing on a bearish structure here, right? Creating a series of highs and lows. So on a downtrend, one thing you should always know is that, okay, not take your highs out, right? Price should never take your highs out, and you should always do what? Price should always take your lows out. As you can see, the break, it happened and price closed below. Basic information, right? So now, one thing that should come into your mind is that, okay, once this low is formulated, price will come and create a new low. As you can see, this is the new low, but this high is going to be formulated. It's not supposed to take the previous high out, and it should take out the low. As you can see, does price takes out that low out? Yes, it does. You understand? Does it take this high out? No. So which means now we have a newly formulated high and a newly formulated low. You understand? This low must go formulate the high, but that high should not take out the previous high out. Basic information. You understand? So price, does it take that high out? No, it does not. And then does this high take this low out? Yes, it does. As you can see that, okay, you have what? A break at a low. You have a strong break at the low. What does price do afterwards? Price, it creates a low. This low must go formulate the new high. That high should not take out the previous high out, right? So does price take out the previous high out? No. As you can see where it tend, price tend at the zone here. So does it take this high out? No, it does not. It does not take that high out. Instead, but the simple question, does price take the low out to make sure that this high is strong? Price does not. This is where you see that, okay, market structure is very important now, right? This is where you'll understand that market structure is very key. Does price take this low out? No, it does not. So this thing, it acts as sell side liquidity. You understand? We have more of what we call a triple bottom, or whatever you want to call it, which means now we are trending in between this high and this low. Price must either take out this low to continue on a bullish trend, or price should take out the high to start creating a new trend. So let's see what price does. It does not take that low out. It goes up and takes what? A high out, which formulates a possible change of character. You understand? Once that high gets itself taken out, we have what? A newly formulated what? A newly formulated high, which means now we are trending in between this high and this low now. You understand? There might be a possible change of character. So which means if you have to take a fib from probably this low to this high here, you can see that, okay, price does what? Price does respect our golden zone, right? It does respect our golden zone, and it does what? And it ends up pushing to the upside. It ends up pushing to the upside and fail to do what? To take that high out. Because we are looking forward to pushing on a bullish structure, right? So which means when we push on a bullish structure, we are supposed to take our high out. We are supposed to take this high out. But does price takes that high out? No, price does not take that high out. You understand? It does what? It goes down to take out the low that formulated that high, which means now we have what? We have a new break at a low, which means there is a shift of structure. So for this shift of structure to become valid, right? For this shift of structure to become valid, what needs to happen within price? Price formulated this. So this is the high that is not supposed to get itself taken out. So now this is the low, the newly created low. this low needs to get itself taken out. Technically, this low needs to get itself taken out. You understand? This low needs to get itself taken out. So there must be a break at this low to confirm that, okay, we're going to push on a bearish structure. Why? Because of, firstly, we took the high out and we believe that, okay, we're going to start pushing on the bullish structure till price took the low that created that high out. So automatically, this means that, okay, there is a shift of market structure. I mean, change of character. The first one failed, so now we are on record this thing. So we had this one here as a change of character that failed, and then we had a new break here. It is then. So we have a new change of character at the same time. So this means that, okay, now this low, it must get taken out. So there is sell side liquidity resting here that must get itself taken out. But price should not take that high out. So what are we looking for? We're looking for selling opportunities. How do you catch your selling opportunities? Your fib from your high to your low, automatically you have what? A nice, beautiful selling opportunities at your golden zone. Which means when you take your selling opportunities from this level, the only thing you're targeting is what? Is to take out that low out. So I hope this thing is making a little bit of sense to you guys. So this is how I approach the market lately. I don't go through this thing of analyzing the whole thing that is happening here. I just work on structure. I take my entry points based off what? The structure of the market. So from my side, ladies and gentlemen, watch the next video where I'm going to be doing a market breakdown for USD, Nasdaq, German 30, and probably SPX 500. Thank you very much.